Welcome to another edition of the Seat Shop installation video series. In this episode, we're going to be showing you how to replace a driver bottom leather seat cover on a 1995 through 1999 Chevy Suburban, the Yukon XL, the Yukon Tahoe, as well as the pickup trucks. And as what we do here at the Seat Shop is we offer a replacement that matches the OEM interior. So you can just replace one piece at a time today like we're replacing the bottom. Brian's going to walk you through a few of the tools here we're going to need.
All right, perfect. On this year model, for the 95-99, the seat cover actually hooks onto the foam cushion with hog rings. So you'll need some hog ring pliers. We sell these as well if you get a cover. The hog rings will come with the cover if it requires them. But these little hog ring pliers make it life a whole lot easier when doing the install. They're $6. You can check those out online when you're getting the cover. We'll have a pair of snips here. We got a 10mm socket. I got a 10mm wrench here too, a flathead, a couple flathead screwdrivers, some scissors, and we got a Phillips head on a regular drill here. That's pretty much all we'll need for that. We'll slide this over.
Okay. Going here. Obviously the first step is going to be to get the seat out of the truck. In order to do that, there's going to be 4 15mm bolts holding this bottom frame into the floorboard. Sometimes you'll have to get up under there with a short ratchet and really work the ones toward the inside, like toward the center console. But it's a 15mm and there's only 4 of them. And there will also be a quick disconnect power connection, usually just one plug. Just quick connect from the floorboard and then remove the seat, get it on a workbench.
There's also a couple plastic, would be a plastic panel that's over the side metal piece. So when you open your door, you're not going to see the metal right off the bat. You're going to see a plastic panel. There's going to be a screw, a little Phillips screw in the front and in the very rear back part of it. So take your Phillips out there to unscrew that. Then that'll expose where you can get into the frame where the bolts are. So slide the seat all the way back to get to the front too, all the way forward. When you get all the way forward, you may want to lift the seat all the way up. If you got power, lift the back up. It gives you some more clearance to get in from the second row to come back on there to get those 15 mils to get the seat out of the truck. Yep,
and then once you go on the workbench here, we're going to take off first of all, this recline lever right here and the panel on the side. Now this seat happens to be heated seat, so there's a lot more controls right here. Sometimes it's just going to be one little lumbar control, but either way you're going to want to get that panel off the side. I'm going to take a Phillips bit. Get those 2 screws out. That recline lever off there. Good. Pull this, and behind there, let me see that little flathead. And behind here, you're going to see the power connections that clip into all these switches. There's just going to be, if you get a flathead, you can get a little separation in there and just kind of pull them off. I'll show you here in a second what's behind here.
It's got a little multi-pin prong piece that goes in. There'll be several little metal pieces coming out in a funky little pattern that goes on. So you kind of got to work it from both sides to kind of pry it off.
There we go. There's one, and one more connection here. There, you'll see on the back side of this right here, all these little copper connections, and they just press fit into these switches. But like Brian said, just get you a little flathead in there, separate on either side, take that off. All right, let's flip this over. I get the seat like this, and let me see the 10mm. Okay, there we go. Then you're going to get next is to obviously get the power track off. There's 4 10mm bolts around the 4 corners of this that connect the power track to the bottom of the seat pan. There's also some electrical connections here. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually grab my phone and take a picture of them so I can remember when I'm putting it back together which plug goes where. Take these.
We'll have this 10mm wrench too. Sometimes if you forget to adjust the seat all the way up, or sometimes depending on where the seat track is, either forward or back or whatever, sometimes it's hard to get to the bolt with a regular socket. So if you can't get to it with that, have a 10mm wrench around, you can get in there to get to it. This is one that ratchets and makes it a whole lot easier than turning a little quarter, eighth of a turn, at a time. You'd be unscrewing it for quite a while. So
these top 2, I have to get this one with the ratchet.
Do that if you want.
Yep. slow process on these ones you have to get by hand. There's one. About there. There we go. And fortunately on these bottom two, I can actually get our little impact in there. One more. All right, once those four off, can separate the power track, and you should have already disconnected all the plugs, but if you missed one, you'll obviously see it at this point. So go ahead and take this off to the side. You want to get those snips.
Okay, here we go. Me flip the seat over
No,
a
that's
bit, or
yeah,
leave
either
it?
way.
See if we can get the point
There we go.
that way.
And then underneath the cover, there's going to be one plastic clip, a long plastic clip toward the door, and that's holding on the seat cover. The rest of the three sides are going to be hog ringed onto the metal seat pan. So we'll just take a pair of snips and just snip all the hog rings you see.
This is what it really comes in handy, having the hog ring pliers to put them back on. You can do them needing those pliers, but it's a real pain in the butt. Those hog ring pliers are $6 worth of sanity, believe me. There's a lot of hog rings on this year model for the bottom.
Okay, there we go. On the back flap, there's going to be Velcro. Just go ahead and pull that Velcro off.
Sometimes there's little straps here. Sometimes these are hog ringed on onto this back piece, so you may have a couple more hog rings to clip on the back. If it's not coming off, you see hog ring there, obviously take the clip snippers and snip those right off there.
All right, let me get to this plastic clip. There's that long one I was talking about, and this will go toward the door. All the rest are here.
You'll see this little pouch here. Sometimes the hog ring on this front piece is coming through this also, so sometimes you got to cut all the hog rings off of this bag. Don't worry, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But sometimes they're all the same hog ring is holding both of them on, so if you clip it off, just make sure that you hog ring this thing back onto the frame as well.
And all these little hog ring pieces too, you're going to want to pick up off your workbench before you put the new leather on, because trust me, we've cut a bunch of covers by just leaving these little scraps around.
Spray one sitting there and you lay the new cover flat down and you finish the install and realize you just sliced the leather. It's no good.
All right, now that these are off, let's see.
Let's flip it back up here. I'm going to start in these corners here.
Just start peeling back the leather. There we go.
You don't want to rip it all off, just get the corners up first. Because the whole top surface here is held on with Velcro, so there's Velcro that holds it onto the foam here. So you want to kind of work in a corner and pull it back. Sometimes it's really, really hard. Sometimes I even had to take pliers to pull them apart. But you want to make sure you don't rip the Velcro off of the foam. So kind of work it back an inch at a time, pushing down on the Velcro on the foam and pulling up on the cover to get that piece off.
There we go, and this should usually pull through. And here's the wire right here for the seat heater. We're going to address the seat heater at the end of the video, just if you happen to have the heated seats. We'll definitely show you how we cut it out of the cover and glue it back down on the foam cushion so the heaters will work with the new cover.
Because the heater's all integrated into the seats, we got to separate that out. We'll show you how to do that.
All right, now that that's good, we're going to go ahead and clean the seat top, so that way the new cover is going to match with the existing leather. All this builds up oils and greases, but here's how we clean them.
All right, I got a little tip for you in terms of cleaning and color match for your seat covers. It's really, really important that you clean your leather real well. You can see on this cover here, we've cleaned half of it. The other half we hadn't cleaned. Another thing, a lot of questions we get on the phone too is about the leather shining. People talk about the leather in their trucks really shiny, and they want to know if the new cover is going to match that shine. The shine is from all the years of wear and tear and the oils from your skin back and forth, sliding over. It's going to make it smooth the grain out some. It's also going to make this shine. So we come out when we clean the top, or usually we clean the top because we replace the bottom. We use Scrubbing Bubbles bathroom cleaner of all things. Now, Scrubbing Bubbles definitely isn't made to scrub leather with, but for a one-time clean, it does a fantastic job. We've used all kinds of things, and this thing is the Scrubbing Bubbles has worked the best for us. As you can see the color difference here. It makes a huge difference. We'll spray a little bit on there, take you a scrub brush and a rag, and you don't have to push real hard on it. Just kind of go back and forth real lightly on it and then wipe it off. If you happen to have the logos on your cover, we don't brush over this. We'll spray some on there and wipe it off, but I don't want to sit there and scrub the logos right there. I'll clean a little piece right here and spray a little bit. You don't want to let it sit on there. Just spray it on and just kind of lightly go back and forth on it. We may have to go over it a couple different times. I do a little section at a time. Like that. I'm going to wipe that up. You can look at all the dirt and everything came off just that one little section. So keep doing that throughout your cover. Once you clean that, you're going to find that the color match is going to be really spot on. After you clean it with the Scrubbing Bubbles, you want to come back with a Lexol cleaning kit. They have a cleaner, conditioner. We offer these kit for sale if you would like to buy them from us. We got them for $10. 8-ounce conditioner, 8-ounce cleaner. It's got 2 little foam pads to put it on with. After you scrub it with the Scrubbing Bubbles, come back over with a lot of the conditioner and really just layer that stuff on there so you don't dry the leather out. This is real good stuff to use. All right. All right, now that we got the top leather cover cleaned, we're going to go ahead and do some prep work on the bottom foam cushion. We'll actually steam out the foam cushion before we put the new leather cover on. You'll see a lot of these deep grooves and everything that are indentions in the foam. Take a steamer, just a regular garment steamer, nothing frilly, just a $30 steamer I bought on eBay. And we'll put it right up here to the foam, and you'll see the foam really start to pop back out and swell back up when you get the steam on it. Just kind of hold it in this section, for 10-15 seconds at a time. You'll see it swell. You'll see kind of a little wave right here, just kind of blows through it. You'll see it really swell back up. This will help that new cover be really tight and full when it's on there, so it keeps it from being loose at all. It takes a little while for the steam to penetrate through the foam. Now, steaming is really going to work if your cushion's in somewhat decent shape. If your foam cushion's completely shot, you definitely need to get a new foam cushion. The leather seat cover really wears out due to the fact that when the foam starts getting worn out and it's just smashed down and loses its density, it doesn't support the leather seat cover like it's supposed to, like when it came new. So we do carry the foam cushions. We have them online at seatshop.com, or give us a call. We've got a bunch of different year, make, and models. We don't have all of them, but chances are we got the foam that'll work for your truck. So if your driver's side or this is happen to be a passenger seat, if your driver's seat where you slide in and out all the time is just really hammered down, you really want to get a new foam cushion. It's going to make a big difference, because you put that new seat cover on there without the foam being reworked or having some new foam on there, the new seat cover is going to wear out a whole lot faster. We're going to go around and keep steaming this whole piece. Once I got all the foam steamed out, we're going to come back and put that leather seat cover on. All right, now I've steamed out the whole foam cushion. When you steam it out, a lot of times it'll still kind of wet on the top. You don't want to go ahead and put the cover right over it when it's still wet. You don't want to get any mold or mildew or stuff growing in there. So let your seat dry out. Put a fan on it for an hour or so, or sit outside in the sun. Let it dry out real good before you put the new cover on. Now, when we took the old cover off, I was talking about the Velcro when you're pulling it up. If you happen to pull some of the Velcro tabs off of the foam cushion, you'll need to glue that back down. You can get a can of 3M spray adhesive. That'll work. You can get it at Home Depot or Lowe's, and glue those tabs down. Make sure that they're set up real well, so when you put the new one on, it doesn't pull that off. Because if the Velcro comes back off, it won't hold the cover down tight to define the stitching lines and the pattern of the seat. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stick the cover on now.
Cover here. Let's see here. All right, and I'll start from the front like this. And the new cover is going to have all the same attachments. You're going to have your hog ring bars right here for underneath. You're going to have that clip toward the door and all the Velcro on the seam lines so it matches up with the foam. I line it up. I start with this first front Velcro line. What I'll do is I'll kind of tuck the cover here and make sure that that lines up right on top of that Velcro that's built into the foam cushion. I'll press that down, get that one started. I'll usually come over here to each side, press it down. Make sure it really grabs that Velcro. And here's that seam line. You can see when I pushed it down how it defines to the seat. That's what gives you a really good definition instead of a cheap, Walmart slip-on cover.
This is definitely an area where you can do a lot of adjustments. Once you've got it Velcroed on and you got the cover wrapped around, you can see if it's pulled too far forward or back. Because when you got it wrapped on the two long side bolsters, you'll see a bunch of ripples, a bunch of pulls in the leather. There'll be a bunch of little lines. So that means either too far forward or back, depending on which way the lines are going. So then you can pull your Velcro up. You can adjust it. Little minute adjustments will do. You can 1/4 inch back or 1/4 inch forward, either way. But that's it's pretty easy to make adjustments with the Velcro.
All right, now that I got all that Velcro down, I'm going to start at one of the front corners, and you can see, now we steamed out so the lines aren't quite as defined, but you can see those lines where the double stitch sat before. I go ahead and push in that foam kind of like that, get that double seam of the new cover lined up. Roll that over the front like that. And I'll come over to the next corner here. Pushing in on that foam again. Okay, there we go. Then I'll just work down, usually one of the sides, get my hand underneath there, and so you can really work that leather. All of these leather covers can be adjusted, even when it's on the seat, you can manipulate it and kind of get it into the position
you don't want to just grab the back and just yank on it. You really want to kind of work it on down. You don't want to risk popping a seam or anything.
Okay, there we go. Got that. Now I'll stuff this back part here, see if you can grab it.
Okay, that's through. Okay.
I'll turn it up on its side. And then we're going to start reattaching all these clips at the bottom, like the hog rings and this plastic strip right here. And I forgot to tell you at the beginning, now when you flip the seat up underneath, all these edges are like razor blades. And this is one of the worst seats for that. I cut myself up all the time, so you may want to get a pair of mechanic's gloves when you're working underneath this seat. Let me see if I can get this clip. And it just rolls over. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's start with the side. Get some hog rings.
Now, where each hog ring goes, there's going to be a little kind of oval-shaped hole or just a regular circle hole in the frame. So if you're not sure where each hog ring goes, just look around the perimeter of the frame underneath, and you'll see a little hole or an oval shape that's cut into the frame. That's where your hog ring is going to go, so it goes completely through there and locks on tight.
Okay. Get this side.
This is where it really helps to have the hog ring pliers. You can see there's going to be a lot of them around the bottom rim. Like I said, the needle nose you can do them, but man, they're going to they'll be shooting all across the garage on you. The little pair of hog ring pliers that we sell for $6. Only difference with what a hog ring plier really does is there's a groove cut on the inside flap of each of the prongs here, so that the hog ring sits in this little channel. So it's sitting up like that. And they're kind of set on a little bit different angle from each other. So when you crimp it down, it bends it into a triangle, into this triangle loop here that holds it on. That's all it does. It's a real simple tool, but man, if you don't have one and you're doing one of these, you're gonna call me and not be too happy afterwards that you didn't get a pair of those hog ring pliers when you started doing this.
There we go. I missed one at the front. If you miss one, no big deal. It's just hanging there. Either get a pair of snips or needle nose, and you can twist and bend it around. And when you're cutting those, be careful because they can shoot across and hit your eye.
Yeah, close your eyes and cover it up and snap it so you can get.
Yep, and I just pulled that other one off there too. Clip that.
We do put plenty of extra hog rings in there in case you don't have hog ring pliers, and they are shooting all over the place. So there's going to be plenty of hog rings in that bag. Not all covers take the hog rings. It kind of varies back and forth between Ford and Chevy. Some of the Fords use them, some of them don't. Some have a combination of Velcro and hog rings. Just whenever you're checking out, if you want to double check, give us a call and double check to see if your particular cover needs hog rings, because you'll need to those pliers make a world of difference.
And see, I've done a bunch of these. I'm still missing them, so it's not the easiest thing in the world. But there we go. There. Okay, I'm gonna turn it up on, and like this. Up. Be careful those edges.
Yeah, that's all of them.
Okay. Get this back flap. You want to get this.
Yeah.
This one Velcro or around the back side here. Just tuck it in.
Pull this tight, and then pull your this strap down. So the Velcro's on tight. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Okay.
This one's gonna be tight too. Okay.
When I'm doing these, a lot of times I'll start the hog ring through this hook. So I'll take one of the points, one of the teeth of the hog ring, and I'll poke it through this gray fabric. Poke it through, and then swing it down to where I'm going to hook it on. So that way it's already kind of started through the fabric that you're going to crimp it on. That's just a little tip. We'll hook that through first, and then swing it down to the frame where you're going to crimp it on.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
Now all the clips on the bottom are done. Let's get that frame.
Frame back up.
Yeah, we can.
You're going to leave it just
yeah.
like this? Okay.
This is the front here.
When you're picking this frame up and move it, make sure you don't grab it by this little black bar that runs across. That's all the motors and gears. If you pick that thing up and snap it off, you got a big problem on your hands. So make sure you grab the metal framework. Sometimes the little the fabric flap that the hog ring strips on, sometimes it'll cover up some of these back holes where the bolts go in. So you may make a little cut with your scissors to cut it out so there's room so you can see the bolt hole. But it'll be right on the edge, right on the corners. You should be able to pull it back and see where the hole is.
Make sure all these front ones are going to line up. Start these front ones with the hand ratchet. And get them threaded.
No.
Yep. Hook back up your power connections. You may have to reference that picture, if you needed to take a picture in the beginning. We need to reference that back to get all these colors lined up, because I have swapped some of these plugs before in a customer's vehicle, and she came back a day later and said her fuses were shorting out for the power windows. I don't know, something's connected, but you know, that was my mistake. I didn't plan for that, but definitely take a picture so you get them hooked up right. That's the floorboard. Yep. All right, flip it to the side. Let's make those cuts.
Now all of our covers come without the holes pre-cut in the side for your power controls. All that stuff you'll do at the time of install. We're getting ready to kind of show you what all cuts need to be made for that. You'll make one little small hole cut for your recline lever, and then one little slit here for the main power control to come in. But when you get the cover in and you don't see a hole trimmed down the side, we didn't see the wrong cover. It's none of them come pre-cut for the hole in the side. It's definitely something you'll do at the end once you install, because a lot of variables how you get it installed, if you got it too far forward or too far back, you know, depending on where the cover got installed, if it's shimmed a little forward, we don't want to have the hole pre-cut and, you know, have a 1/4 inch of the piece we cut in there showing. So that's why you'll do the cut at install.
All right, so I'll start with that recline lever first. I'll feel that post that's trying to poke through the cover. I'll go right in the center of it with a pair of scissors and really just make a tiny little hole. Now it does cover up a little bigger area, but take your time. Just, you know, make sure the scissors don't run across the whole side. Let's see if I can get. There we go. Let's see. All right, now we're going to make that cut here in the side. And what I do is I kind of feel, you can feel through the cover, and there will be a metal or cutout of the metal seat pan, like a rectangular cutout, depending on the size and the power options of your seat. It also depends on how big it is. But I'll feel through there, and I'll feel the end of it where the metal is right there. And then I'll also go to the front, and I can feel that there. I'll cut a single line across the center of that, the vertical up and down, across the center of it. And then at the ends, I'll cut two kind of triangle cuts here. That way you're not cutting too much extra material, and this thing should just push in and screw back on.
You want to try to leave it small and then try to be able to work the power control back in there, because that side piece, the vinyl on that side piece will stretch some. So it's better to have it tight than have it, you know, cut too much and just go right in. So you want to kind of have to push and fit it in there so everything's fitting real tight around it. So you can always, you know, start with a small cut, and then you can come back and figure if you need to cut a little more, you can trim a little bit more.
Cut about there, and cut.
A lot of times you have to pick that control back up and mount it and hold it back up there and see if you can fit it in. You may pick that control up 10, 15 times before you get your final cut all said and done on there.
Yeah. Let's start with that. Need a little more cut here at the front.
While Hunter's still cutting, at the seat shop we do everything for Ford and GM for all the trucks and SUVs. Our website has a seat finder on the front page. So if you don't happen to have a 95 to 99 Chevy or GMC truck or Suburban or Tahoe, check out the website with our drop-down menu. Chances are if you got a truck or SUV, the chances are we got the patterns for that. The seat finder will really help you out to narrow down to your vehicle, and then when you get into each ad, it'll have the available colors in it. We can also verify your color with your VIN number, so if you're not sure what color you got even from checking the website, give us a call with the VIN, or when you check out, you can provide the VIN number. We'll double check the orders before they go out. But if you need any piece for it, bottom, top, armrest, headrest, full kit, you know, one piece at a time or the whole interior, we got you covered for that.
Just finishing up connecting those three power sources that were on there, and then we'll try to push that back. There we go. Push that back through the cover when we grab the screws. All right, perfect. Well, that's it. We're going to get this back in the truck again with those 4 15-millimeter bolts. And if you've got any questions, give us a shout. And here's how to order. Visit our website at www.theseatshop.com. Use the seat finder at the top right to select a year, make, and model to find the correct products for your vehicle. Find the product you are looking for and click Learn More to see additional details about that product. Select the appropriate interior color, enter a quantity, and click Add to Cart to check out. If you have any other questions, please give us a call at 214-710-2565.
Hey, this is Brian with the Seat Shop, and today we're going to show you how to take the heating element out of a 95 through 98 Chevy or GMC pickup, or 95 through 99 Suburban Tahoe Yukon. In this year range, they actually sew the heating element into the cover. They incorporate it into the cover. The newer model stuff, 2000 and newer, the heating element's actually attached to the foam cushion. So the newer stuff, you don't have to do the steps, these steps here. But on the older model, 95 through 99, you'll need to remove the old heater to transfer the new one. It really helps having two people to do this job. Basically, you got to deconstruct the cover. We're going to start cutting it apart at all the seams. You're going to pull it apart because there's a 1/4-inch foam that's sewn on the back of the cover. So the other side's got the leather. Just beneath the leather, you get this 1/4-inch foam that's sewn onto it, and the heating pad's in that foam. So we're going to try to just cut everything apart to separate the heater from it. So we're going to just start. We're going to take this full outer rim off of here first, just so we can see it a little better. Just a razor blade to pull up, cut down the seams.
Nothing really tricky to this.
Slide this forward a little bit.
Okay. I'll hold this for you.
Okay, now that's separated. The heating pad coil goes through 3 of the sections, the 3 center sections. These outer 2 don't have the heater in it. They got 1, 2, and 3. Now there's little wires that run through the whole coil, through the whole pad. And in between each section, there's going to be a little wire that just one wire across here and one wire across here. So it's not going through the whole, there's not wires going through the whole place, just 1 and 1, 1 and 1. So when we're cutting this apart, we got to be careful. That's when we're going to start cutting these apart. We'll flip it over. This is where it really helps having 2 people. One person's pulling it apart where you can see the seams, and then we'll just come through and cut the thread. It's kind of a long, tedious process, but you want to make sure that you take your time on this, because you don't want to cut too much and and actually wind up cutting the heater.
Yeah, and there's going to be 2 stitches there. Carpet.
Okay.
Do the same thing on this side.
All right. Now we're going to start to separate in between these. Now you really don't make sure you don't cut deep here because, like I said, those wires are running through here and here. So we're going to cut real shallow. Just make sure you're barely nicking the.
And also make sure you have a box of very, very, very fresh, sharp razor blades. You can run through them quick. Yeah, that may be.
Go from the back end, or
Try this.
make sure I'm getting the bottom stitch too.
Run across the whole top first.
Yeah. Now you can see that white pad that's exposed there. That's got the heating coil in it. That's why you don't want to just take this and just slice it right down, because if you cut through that white piece where the wire's running through, then this whole thing is shot. Okay. You want to pull this whole? Go and cut these off.
Yeah, if you can get in there, it's real fragile.
Go.
Yeah, and if anything like this, you know, cut the leather, just don't cut down.
Yeah. Let's go for this here. Maybe we can just cut this leather.
Yeah. And you can see, I don't know if you can see, but if you hold this up to the light, you can see all the, I know that doesn't do any good, but you can see all the wires that run. So they don't come exactly all the way to the end of this. You just want to be extra careful. But if you happen to, just nick through the cloth right here on the outer panel, I can see a wire here. You'll still be fine.
You got about a ½ inch or quarter to ½ inch of gracing around the front lip before you see the wires. But the main part of cutting it apart where you can get the leather off is so you can hold it up where it's translucent so you can see where the wires are and so you don't cut across them.
Actually, we can get you a shot here. All right, so I'm going to just take this scissors since there's no really need and just cut this pad right along the leather so don't have to fight that.
You want to leave some room on the ends because when you glue this back on, you don't want to, when you glue this onto the new foam cushion, when you do the reinstall the new cover, you don't want to just cake the whole underneath side of it with glue. You want to kind of glue some of the corners. So you want to have a little bit of fabric that doesn't have the heating coils, above it to where you can put some of the glue. So we don't trim it completely tight up right up to the wire. Leave you some space.
Let's see one.
Yeah, try to flip that one around. All right, let's go through. Okay. Now we get another one of these seams. Again, this is one place you don't want to cut real deep.
I'm just going across the surface stitch.
There's going to be 2 layers of stitch, one on the top and then one about another ½ inch deeper on the bottom, so it'll peel back and kind of in layers.
Okay. Nope. Gotcha. Then.
Okay. Let me fold it. There we go. Let's try this right here. Nothing real difficult about it. It's just kind of time-consuming and tedious. I know it's not the most exhilarating video to watch, but it's definitely going to let you know what all's involved in changing this thing over.
Okay.
Perfect. Now, before you went through the whole process of cutting this apart, make sure your seat heaters worked. A lot of times you'll see these things will short out, and you'll see a little burn mark throughout it. There'll be a burn mark about a little bit bigger than $1/4. So if you see a burn mark, that means your thing's probably shorted out, and there's no need to take the time and effort to cut the whole thing out. But if it's good, go ahead and transfer it over. That's what you'll need to do. So we'll hold this up light so we can see all the, make sure no coils nicked, everything's in good, all connected.
And the wires actually cross, let me see this, the wires cross right here just inside of that hole that you'll see. As well as at the top. I can kind of peel this back there, and you can see one wire right there. But it crosses around these holes on the inside, and there's nothing in the middle here. Now, the new cover, when you put this on the foam, you're going to have to get to that Velcro underneath. And you don't need the whole strip of Velcro in order, for it to hold the seam line good. But you're going to want to trim this to at least get some grip. And so I'll go in that middle hole. Just be careful. I'll even hold my finger over there so I don't even get close. Just try and get you, 3 to 4 inches. So when you glue this down, the Velcro is exposed.
So the Velcro on the foam cushion is comes up through there. So when the new leather seat cover that has the fuzzy side of the Velcro can go through this, will attach through that hole that we're cutting, so it'll hold on to the Velcro on the foam.
There, that's plenty right there. Do the same thing up here.
When you're putting this cover, the new heater onto the foam, if in the foam cushion there's these where these channels are, it probably drops 3/4 an inch, half inch, 3/4 an inch, little trough. You want to make sure that you leave room for this because this will actually be closed up together. It's not going to have that gap. So that extra fabric that's in there is for it to go down in that trough. Because if you just glued it just flat on top of the foam right there, and you sit down on it, it's gonna put all the weight and pressure on these 4 points where the wires are, and you can snap the wire. The wire is not really heavy duty, so make sure when you're gluing the new one in that you push these down into the trough where that Velcro is. So this thing, when it's actually installed, it's gonna be tighter. You'll see it'll be raised up. So this will be raised up on the foam. This will be raised up, but that trough is sitting, a half inch deep, so it follows that dip. Otherwise, when you sit on it, it's going to break the wire.
Finish this one. Perfect, and that's all there is to it. Now, this is going to be sewn into the original cover, but it doesn't have to be sewn into the new cover for it to work. The seats will still heat even with a new cover and foam over this. Obviously, this is just the pressure of your body. You'll be fine.
When you're putting this on the new foam, this is going to be a little bit bigger than the actual cushion and everything, because you can see everywhere we just cut across the stitching seam. That's what's all this length is. It's probably a half inch longer. So when it's sewn, you got a lip like this. You don't have this other half inch sticking out where the thread went. So you may have to, when you lay it on there, take you a pair of scissors. You'll probably have to make some trim. Trim cuts around here to cut this part off that had where the stitching was. But don't do that cut until you've got everything separated and you're getting ready to attach it to the foam cushion. Then you can make your appropriate cuts. And also now it's translucent. You can see through it to see where the coils are. That way you make sure you don't cut across one of the heating wires, and then you screw the whole project there if you cut across one of the coils. So you will need to do some minor trimming around some of the corners to get it to fit on, because this is going to be a little bit wider because you got an extra half inch on the border all the way around that allowed for when this was sewn into a cover.
And that's basically all there is to it. You just put this on the new foam cushion, or even the old foam cushion, just right on top instead of in the cover. Use a little can of 3M spray adhesive's fine. That's what we do. And Brian was telling you earlier, don't don't glue over the whole thing and then put it down. We just kind of run along maybe an inch around the border, just enough to hold it in place until you get the new cover installed.
There's a section here about the size of a fist that doesn't have any coils. I can put you a shot here, and a shot on the corners, on there, tip on the back.
Strip.
The Velcro of the leather cover is going to hold this center section square. You may put a little shot of glue on each side of that. Other than that, you don't need a massive amount of glue in there because the cover is going to be holding on there tight, but you can glue in a couple points. You just want to slap a whole bunch of glue underneath the heating coil.
That's basically it.
If you got any other questions, give us a shout at 214-710-2565, or check us out on the website at www.theseatshop.com.